Hello you beautiful people and welcome to today's video. Today I would like to talk about another book I did read. And this time it is Circe from Madeline Miller. I talked about this author and another book of her on this channel before. It was The Song of Achilles, and it should be in the same playlist as this video. And in the background you can watch me draw Circe and her lioness. Her lioness? I think it's called lioness. Yeah, so let's talk about the book. Circe revolves around the mythological witch Circe, who's known for luring men to her island to turn them into all kinds of animals, or mainly pigs. And I think it's only pigs in this book. I think she did not turn any men in other animals. I think it's only piggies, little squeaky piggies. So, who is Circe? She is the daughter of Helios, the sun god, and from the moment she is born into the pantheon of fancy Greek gods, she has a hard time fitting in. She is considered weak and a shame for her family because she's not like other goddesses. And yeah, at first it doesn't seem like she has any useful power at all, which leads to her being an outcast. And on top of all that, she has weird yellow eyes and weird streaks in her boring brown hair, and she's referred to having an unpleasant croaky voice to the gods, and that actually comes to play an important role later in the story. I don't want to go too far ahead, and I don't want to dive into spoiler territory because maybe you want to pick up this book, and I don't want to spoil you. So, very early in the book, she does discover that she has powers indeed. And unsurprisingly for us, but very surprisingly for her, it is witchcraft that she can work. And I have to say at this point, I really enjoy how Madeline Miller writes about the witchcraft, how she works them, that it's actually not that easy, that she has to put a lot of work and learning into it. I really enjoyed reading these passages about how Circe does her witchcraft thing. And yeah, when she is young and a naive goddess, she does a very stupid thing to the gods at least, and to her father and everyone else. She does a bunch of things that they don't like. But for one of them, she gets banished to the island of Ayaya. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not very sure. And that's where she lives in exile for most of the story. And yeah, but she does make this island her own, and she does make herself a living space there, even though she has it hard. And that's a very nice kind of touch to her story. I was not too familiar with her myth. I did know some of the things, mainly that she lures guys to her shore, to her island, and then she turns them into pigs. That story, and the Odysseus part is what I have in mind, had in mind, like very roughly. So I did do some research on how faithful Madeline Miller stays to the original myth, and I can recommend you to watch the video about Odysseus from Overly Sarcastic Productions, because there she plays a little part, and then Odysseus plays a big part in this book as well. So that was very interesting to see. And yeah, some parts are like in the original myth and some parts are not. But it was a very fun read nevertheless. So, yeah, let's move on to my personal opinion about the book. It was a very fun and fast read for my reading pace. I read very, very slowly. These days, it's hard for me to pick up a book and read for hours with no end. I mostly read like kind of in between. Sometimes in my lunch breaks, but that's very scarce because I'm not at the office most of the time. So yeah. Yeah, but it was very fun to read and very fast for the pace I can offer. And I really, really did like the writing style, as I did with The Song of Achilles. I did read the English version, and I really liked seeing Circe grow on her journey, and I'm a mythology fangirl, so seeing all the people I recognized from the myths I know interact, that was totally my jam. I really like that. Every time a name I recognize pops up, I'm like, oh my god, that's that guy. And there are a lot of references to Patroclus and Achilles and other gods and goddesses, like the Scylla, and I'm like, yeah, I do like that. I really liked a lot of the things. There's a part about the Minotaur, and yeah, that was very nice. I like that a whole lot. And the descriptions of the locations and events are very, for me as a non-native speaker, very poetical and beautiful overall, as far as I can tell. I really enjoy the writing style, as I mentioned before. And I liked Circe as the protagonist of her own story. I really liked hearing a version of the story like from her perspective, because usually if you have something, it's from Odysseus' perspective when he lands on her island and stuff. But it was very nice seeing like this whole thing through her eyes. However, there were some parts I did not like too much. Because it scratches very hard on this, not like other girls trope. It scratches really hard on it, where it's like, yeah, everybody, with almost no exception, is very mean to her. On the other hand, gods and goddesses in mythology are kind of pricks. Or as Madeline Miller puts it, like giddy little kids rubbing their hands, screaming more. But yeah, I know. I found it a bit too much at some parts, where I was like, yeah, wow. I don't know. It took me a bit out of the story, where it was like, okay, everybody is very mean to her, everything. And it was very dramatic. But on the other hand, again, maybe I'm not the target group for this book anyway. Overall, I did enjoy it. I really like it. I probably will read it again at some point. But yeah, sometimes I did not like every little bit about it. I think that's very normal. A lot of books I really enjoyed have parts where I'm like, okay, what's that? Because no book can be perfect ever, but like, yeah, there are some parts that are a bit too, But overall, I really, really, really did enjoy it, and I can highly recommend it. If you are interested in reading things that revolve around mythology and gods and Greek gods in particular, in this case, I can highly recommend picking it up. You can't do anything wrong, because it's very short. It's not too much of a time eater. And yeah, the ending, I will not spoil what happens, but To be very honest, did you read the book? Please tell me what you think of the end part with Odysseus' son. Like, tell me what you thought about that. Because that was one of these parts where I was like, okay, that's, I was a bit, I don't know what to think of it. I was on the, I really liked that the ending was not dark, not all dark. Like, it could have been like a very grim ending, but it did not take that path like it did with, I think you can say the Song of Achilles, the ending, is not grim either. It's kind of sad, but everything is dramatic in Greek mythology. It's kind of a nice ending, if you consider the circumstances. With Circe, it's kind of a nice ending for her as well, I think. Yeah. The ending is kind of the part where I'm like, I don't know what to think of that. It's not bad. It's not, I don't know. Maybe it's just the part where where my personal mindset is like a bit strange. I don't know. But it's fine. It's okay. Overall, it's a very good book, I think. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the book. I would like to tell you a bit about the painting. The materials I used for this painting are, I think, paint on paper from Clairefontaine. The toned version that has this creamy kind of undertone to it, and I painted on top of it with Arteza Gouache paints. And of course, I used a pencil to sketch out the painting overall. And as you may know, if you follow my other social media channels, I'm currently trying to get into more opaque painting mediums. And I think I maybe am starting to get the hang of them. I'm very proud of how this painting turned out, because for the longest time, as I mentioned in the previous gouache painting, I did not consider myself a painter. And also, I usually am not that great with painting semi-realistic animals, but I think I did kind of a good job with the lioness. Yeah, and also I really like how smooth Circe's skin turned out. I really like... Yeah, we watched a lot of videos lately about early graphic design and early poster painting kind of stuff, and I was really inspired to paint something more flat. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just overall happy how it turned out. I tried to use a bit of a limited color scheme with the browns and cream tones and the greens and blues, so the characters could be told apart from the background a bit better. I think that works nicely. I think. Tell me what you think in the comments down below, please. And I try to give Circe a kind of a stern but calm expression to mirror her mood from the major parts of the book. At least that's how I did perceive her. Perceive her. English. What's English even? I don't know. Yeah, and I think that's all. I have the book right beside me. It's very small and cute. And one thing I really do like about the book, if you are not that into mythology, but you would like to read it, but you, for the sake of anything, can't remember all the names, it has a cast of characters in the background, in the back of the book, like the mortals and the gods and what their part is and what they do, and yeah, that's very handy, I think. If you don't know all the names, I had to look up some of the names too, because sometimes I was like, okay, because some of them are very similar. And also some of them are like different from the names we have in Germany for the gods and goddesses and people from the pantheon and the cast in general. And yeah, so sometimes I had to look up like, oh yeah, that's that guy or that's that girl. I remember now. And yeah. And I really can highly recommend watching like the overly sarcastic production videos. They are so good. I love them so much. I now really want these books, but with my favorite pantheon, which is Nordic gods. I really love a book like Song of Achilles or Circe with that cast. That would be amazing. Maybe one day in the future someone will write something like that. I would be very glad to read that. Yeah. So currently I read I started reading Plain Bad Heroines from an author. I know she's called. I know her first name. It's Emily, I think. Oh, god dang it. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. But I read that book. I started reading that book and it starts off really, really strong. I'm very excited about it. My good friend Donnie gave it to me because she was so excited about it. And that one also has a lot of illustrations in it. So that's amazing. I'm very, very happy to read that right now. And that's, I think, the next video I'm gonna make about a book. But I have to read it first, and it's a big one. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought about picking up so much YA books, but so many YA books, but they kind of are nice. I did not think that at first, because I grew up with a lot of adult thriller books and stuff like that. But I guess I did read a lot of YA without knowing that this category at least existed. Yeah. Okay, I'm rambling again. I'm very sorry. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment down below and maybe giving me a thumbs up if you like. You don't have to. There's no rules, but I will be happy. So, we see each other next time. And until we see each other, please do something that makes you happy. Bye!